Welcome to the Workforce Reporting for General Contractors training. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts has set policy that promotes equity of opportunity within state construction contracting. The Commonwealth is building on that policy by establishing a reporting mechanism, including instructions to state agencies as to the collection of data associated with these opportunities. This data includes accurate reporting of all workers. This training will prepare you to complete the forms for data reporting and submit them to DCAMM. Let's talk a little about the process. When a general contractor or prime is identified as the awardee and a contract is signed to work on a project for DCAMM, the general contractor is required to submit a list of subcontractors that will be working on the project. This list will be submitted to and approved by the DCAMM Office of Programming, Design, and Construction. From these lists, DCAMM will create an Excel workbook form called the Contractors Workforce Reporting System Employee Setup Form and will send the form to the general contractors and their subcontractors. DCAMM will create one setup form for the general contractor and separate setup forms for all approved subcontractors on the project. These forms are not transferable. These forms will be used to establish the contractor's weekly workforce report forms, which will be used to report employee hours every week. The use of these forms will be covered during this training. You are now viewing the Contractor's Weekly Workforce Reporting System Employee Setup form. Each individual worker assigned to your job site will need a record created in the system. The form you are viewing will be the vehicle used to create these records. This record will link your employee to the crew he or she is assigned to and will contain information about that individual. This is a change from the previous reporting system. Your company may have single or multiple crews assigned to a project. As we discussed before, DCAMM will create the workforce reporting workbook you and your subcontractors will be using for each crew. The form is then sent electronically to the construction general contractor and each subcontractor's compliance representative. You and each subcontractor will use this form to establish your employee lists and to update your established lists as needed throughout the life of the project. Let's begin to work with the form. You will notice at the top of the form, DCAMM has pre-populated project information. On the left of the text box, you will see the project name, project number, contractor name, and project location. On the right of the text box, you will notice the predetermined minority and women workforce goals. If you should have questions regarding this information, please contact your DCAMM project manager or the DCAMM compliance manager. The DCAMM contact information is noted on the job aid that can be downloaded from this website. Let's begin the process of filling out the form. The first field into which you will add information is the date work began field. Click in the field and enter the date in a 224 format. So for example, if project work began on August 1st, 2013, you would enter that date as 08/01/2013. All dates on the reporting forms will be entered in this format. Please note that this field will not accept any date prior to July 1st, 2013, as this was the date this policy went into effect. To finalize your entry, click on your Tab key and you'll be directed to your next empty cell. You'll notice the next empty cell is Date Work Completed, and this is the field in which you will place the date the project work ends. Since we are not entering that date at this time, we will simply click the Tab key and we will go to the Reporting Date field. The Reporting Date field houses the date that you are actually creating this report. So let's put in today's date. After entering the report date, click the Tab key. You are now in the Contractor Filing Report field. DCAMM has pre-populated this field with the contractor name. Click on the down-facing arrow and select the contractor or subcontractor name from the list. The name will populate the field. As we discussed, each contractor and subcontractor will get their own individual version of the spreadsheet to fill out. When the contractor field has been populated, move to the crew name field by clicking the Tab key. As with the last field, the crew name is also a drop-down menu pre-populated with crew information given to DCAMM. Click on the down-facing arrow. If there are more than one crew assigned to the project by the contractor or subcontractor, there will be multiple crew numbers on the drop-down menu. Select the appropriate crew number. Also note that if there are more than one crew on a project, you will need to use this form to create one form per crew. After entering the crew number, click the Tab key. We are now moving to the body of the form. This is where we will begin to enter your employee's information. Enter your employee's first name. When complete, click the Tab key to move to the middle name field. You may enter the middle name, middle initial, or leave it blank. Once again, press the Tab key to move to the next column. Last name. Enter the employee's last name. If the employee's name includes a generational suffix, for example, junior, senior, the third, add a space and include the generational suffix in the last name column. When finished, tab to the next open field. The next open field is zip code. In the zip code field, enter the employee's home zip code. This is not the employer's business zip code. This is the zip code of the employee's residence. After entering the zip code, tab to the next column. The job category field is also a drop-down menu. Click on the down-facing arrow and search for the appropriate job category by scrolling the list. Click on the appropriate choice to populate the field. If the category needed is not included on the list, choose Other. You may contact DCAMM if you feel that a job category should be added to the category list. When your entry is complete, tab to the next field. The Race Ethnicity field has been added to the Employee Setup form. This field is a drop-down menu containing the racial and ethnic groups that are required in workforce reporting. As a Commonwealth contractor, you are expected to give the employee an opportunity to self-identify with a particular minority category. If the employee has declared and reported his minority affiliation, and the particular group is one of the groups we are reporting on, please select the appropriate minority affiliation. If the employee's minority group is not a part of the list, please select Minority Other. If the employee is not reporting his ethnic affiliation, the general contractor may select a minority group affiliation based on a visual survey, or, if uncertain, choose Minority Other. Remember, the contractor may only select a minority classification based on a visual survey when the opportunity has been given to the employee to self-identify and they have not chosen to do so. After completing the Race Ethnicity field, click the Tab key. The Gender Classification field is also a drop-down menu. Click on the down-facing arrow and click on the appropriate choice to populate the field. This field will further clarify the race ethnicity reporting of the employee. We have completed the information on one employee. Continue to enter information on each crew member that will be working on the project. If you find that you will completely fill the employee setup form and need additional pages, contact DCAMM by emailing a request for an additional page or pages to add to your form. You will receive your new pages within days. Please note, if there are multiple crews on the project, there should be a setup form for each crew. Select the crew, enter the employees, save each document separately, and submit each form to DCAMM individually. As you will notice, we have added the additional crew members to our form. When the form has been completed, check for accuracy. If the form is ready to submit, go to the bottom of the form and make sure the certification checkbox has been checked. In the fields provided at the bottom of the form, enter your name as the person creating the document, your title, your phone information, and your email address. When complete, save the document to the desired area of your computer. Remember to save the document, click on File and Save As. Make sure you save the document as an Excel document. Never utilize the PDF format, as the PDF format is not compatible with our workforce reporting system. As you will need to access this document in the future to make changes to your employee list, make sure you keep this document in a safe place. To submit the form to DCAMM, attach the document to an email addressed to the address located at the top right-hand corner of the form. Shortly after submitting the employee setup form to DCAMM, you will receive your weekly reporting forms through email. Throughout the project, you may experience changes in your crew. For example, adding new crew members. The employee setup form should be used whenever there are changes in the crew makeup. When adding to your crew with new employees, you will change the crew by making the changes to this document, leaving those employees already existing on the form and adding new employees to the bottom. Resave the document and resubmit it to DCAMM. This is an important step in this process. You will not be able to log employee hours without first establishing their link to the crew. By adding them to the crew list and resubmitting the form, your weekly reporting form will always be ready for use. Within a few days of the submission of the employee setup form, DCAMM will send to the general contractor's compliance representative a second set of spreadsheets. The weekly reporting forms have been created for the general contractor and each of their subcontractors to report the weekly hours of their employees. As with the employee setup form, this form is pre-populated with project information and the names of the construction crew employees previously submitted on the employee setup form. This form will be used each week to submit this information. As with the employee setup form, the project information is pre-populated on the left side of the form with the project name, project number, the contractor, and project location. On the right side of the form are the minority and women workforce goals, the date the project work began, and the field in which the date the project work is completed will be housed. Let's begin the process of filling out our weekly workforce report form. The first field in which we will add information is the date work began field. Now, as you will remember from our employee setup form, the work on this project began on 8/1/2013. I've already entered that date into the field. Remember that all dates on these forms are entered in a 224 format. We will bypass the date work completed field as work is still ongoing on this project. The next field we will address is the week ending date. Now, the week ending date is the last day of the pay period for the particular contractor. So in this case, our week ending fell on 9/1/2013. So again, I entered that into the field. As with the employee setup form, the contractor filing report field has a drop-down menu. The contractor's name has been pre-populated. All you need to do is click on the appropriate name and it will populate the field. The same with the crew. You will click on the down-facing arrow and select the appropriate crew number. You will notice under the contractor and crew fields, there are two fields. The first is a checkbox that allows you to designate that this report is the final report for the project. If it is the final report, please check the box designating it is the final report. If it is not, leave the checkbox blank. Next to the final report checkbox, there is a report number field. If this is your first weekly report, you will begin numbering your reports with a number you create yourself that will run sequentially from week to week. We recommend a number such as 001. Once the first report is numbered and saved, you will be able to utilize this report to create a new report. When using this method to create the next report, remember to change the number of your report to the next sequential number and use Save As when you save your new document to create a new and separate file for your report. We can now begin the process of entering the hours for our crew members. Click on the crew member field. You will notice a down-facing arrow appears. Click on the down-facing arrow. As you will notice, the names of your employees have been taken from the employee setup form and pre-populated into the crew member field. Select the appropriate crew member by clicking on the name for the employee you wish to report hours worked. Tab over to the Total Weekly Workforce Hours field and enter the hours. Fractional hours are entered in two-place decimals. A half an hour would be 0.50 and a quarter hour 0.25. Repeat this process for each employee until all the employee hours have been documented. We have entered the hours for all crew members working on the project during this pay period. When the form has been completed, check for accuracy. If the form is ready to submit, go to the bottom of the form and make sure the certification checkbox has been checked. In the area provided at the bottom of the form, enter your name as the person creating the document, your title, your phone information, and your email address. When complete, save the document to the desired area of your computer. Remember to use File Save As to save your document. Remember, you can utilize this document to create the document for next week's pay period. Make sure to save the document as an Excel document. Never use a PDF format. As with the employee setup form, submit the form to DCAMM by attaching the document to an email addressed to the address at the top of the form. We have just finished submitting the weekly report forms. At this time, the general contractor will receive an email notifying him or her that the subcontractor reports are now ready for review and approval. The general contractor will log in, review the documents, and approve the subcontractor's weekly report. For your convenience, we have included a job aid on this website with step-by-step instructions on how to complete the approval process. In addition to the General Contractor's Approval Process Job Aid, we've also included the General Contractor's Workforce Reporting Job Aid, which is a step-by-step version of the instructions contained in this video.